Alrighty, a surprisingly active session today. If you were with us during the pre-market prep live stream, you'll know that I was expecting a much slower session, definitely much slower than what we saw today, simply because Friday's action was a trend day. That was a break into fresh all-time highs. Generally speaking, anytime you have that volatility expansion move, it's going to be followed by some volatility compression. That usually means a slower day, likely an inside bar on the daily time frame chart. Now coming into the actual session open, what we saw was incredibly low volume, right? So if I flip over to the 2-minute chart here and take a look at the open, you can see this yellow line on my volume bars down here. This is my minimum volume threshold. So anytime on the 2-minute chart we have volume below that yellow line, it tells me personally to not be active, to be leaning off the keys, to definitely be doing less. Generally speaking, we're not seeing such low volume this early into the session. So that was a major red flag to me. Actually ended up shutting it down well before I usually do, about 1 hour into the session. Ended up catching a couple of scalps later on in the afternoon during some of this, but overall, generally speaking, not my type of action, what we saw this morning. So big red flag, generally speaking, to just shut it down. I see a lot of traders get caught in this kind of choppier type of action, just giving away money when they should be saving it for better opportunities. Now, there's going to be those days where, you're expecting some chop. It's within your plan to be doing less, and then you see a big rip higher. No FOMO or anything like that. As long as we are following our plan, respecting what we said we were going to do prior to the session opening, then we did well for that day. That is what develops long-term profitability. You don't need to be catching every single move, every single wiggle in the index. So just a note on anytime you are missing any type of move like this, especially if it was not within your plan, not within your framework for that particular session, don't sweat it. It's not a big deal. You're not going to be making your trading career on any individual trade, on any individual move, especially something like this that you may not have even been prepared for. So some nice action in the back half of the day, some decent activity through here. Essentially what we saw is pretty strong move higher, again, on quite low volume. Likely a lot of chasers getting involved with this play. They find themselves off sides as price starts to pull in a bit. And when you have a lot of people off sides in a big way, you tend to get these very volatile moves, these kind of big cascades lower. So price ultimately broke back through the session low, back into that prior day range, and is now just kind of oscillating near that prior day volume point of control into the close. So that brings us into what do we look for tomorrow, being that CPI is tomorrow morning. That is going to be a market moving event. Well, the main thing I'm going to be focused on is whether or not sellers can force prices lower. They finally have a decent signal bar here. Again, very, very limited volume. Look how low that volume is on the daily chart. So no real selling activity as far as volume is concerned, really hitting the tape just yet, but we do have a decent signal if sellers do want to lean into this. So what I'll be looking at is how price responds versus today's low. That is into that 50-33 area. That aligns nicely with our 50-30 level of interest. So main watch for tomorrow is likely going to be that 50-30 level of interest. Today's low, I'll be treating that like a zone. It's a 3-point zone there, nothing all that wide. And what we want to see, again, can sellers utilize today's daily bar to force prices lower? This has been a quite bullish tape, with bulls pretty much buying up every single dip that they can. Now, from a near-term structural perspective, not a lot has changed, right? We had this move through here last Wednesday. You have that inside day on Thursday, and then Friday resolves higher into all-time highs. I was expecting another inside day today. We actually get that break higher. Now just pulling back, right? But from a structural perspective, this near-term structure does not break until you start to see some action below this 50-20 area. So until price breaks back into this zone down here, just looking at the near-term structure, buyers are not really in trouble. So 50-30 main watch on ES for tomorrow post CPI. That will be at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's have a look at NQ. NQ, pretty similar, right? If we take a look at just the structure here, the near-term structure, you got that breakout play through here, some consolidation, price breaks out again, you retest the prior breakout point, resolves higher. Looking for a bit of an inside day today. It pokes above and then quickly retraces back within. Now, from a structural perspective, this very well could be another higher low, right? We don't know for sure until price actually resolves from that area. But again, looking at this structure, the structure is not broken until price breaks below this 17,875 area, right? Very similar to what we saw in ES and trades back into this zone right through here. So pretty similar on NQ. We want to see, let's have a look at the daily chart really quick. We want to see if sellers can force this potential sell signal lower. Again, trading on below average volume, so not all that significant, still trading well above that fast MA, right? Not even below the fast MA just yet. So let's see how price trades versus today's low, and we'll just take it from there. As far as individual names, we do have RBLX on watch. I do like the technical setup here. Volume's a bit light, so this will just be a technical setup, but above 44.75, above that 45 area, up through here to retest 47 does look pretty good. We'll see how that looks in the morning. And then we do have two post-earnings potential names on watch shop reports tomorrow morning. So we'll treat this as a post-earnings name with a potential gap. We'll see about that. And then we do have DDOG as well reporting tomorrow morning. So we'll see how that looks. Hope everyone had a great day. Hope you guys stayed safe in the chop. If you missed any of today's action, it really is no big deal. It's expected to be a slower day. The day was on quite low volume. So don't beat yourself up over missing anything. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the pre-market prep live stream. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. Have a great evening. Later.